37. I hope everybody is fed and ready to kick off the, Friday morning. I hear breakfast is delicious. Have you had any? No breakfast yet. How's breakfast? What's your favorite part?
Waffles.
Oh, waffles. Anything else? Did you have any fruit?
I did, actually.
Oh, excellent. Excellent. Thanks, Des. How's everybody doing this morning?
Yeah.
Cool. Yes. It's very exciting. This is a packed house today, eh? Who's not been here before? Oh, yes. So let me put you on the spot. Why'd you come out?
Well, I wanted to let everybody know they can find out when their favorite team scores on their mobile phone. So I figured this is the perfect place to tell everybody about WeScoredApp.com.
Wow. Taking the free plug, eh? Wow. Good. Good stuff. Who else is first time here? Oh, wow. I'm surprised people still put up their hand knowing what I'm going to do to them next. What brings you out?
A friend of mine actually invited me out, and I haven't been out to this before. I'd like to learn about social media and meet some people.
Oh, cool. What would you like to learn about social media?
Just about everything.
Oh, wow. That is, I'm not sure we can do that in the next hour and a half, but we will try. And you, sir?
Mouthful of muffin.
Mouthful of muffin. I knew a guy named that in Ohio. I knew a guy named Mouthful of Muffin. Oh, yeah. What brings you out today?
Just networking amongst the fellow Calgary peeps, and Twitter and Instagram is fantastic, so looking to learn some more from it.
Are you on Twitter and Instagram?
I am. MortgageMaze_CA.
MortgageMage_CA, and that's on Instagram and Twitter? Oh, cool. Cool, well, welcome to number 37 and Social Media Breakfast. I hear the fruit and sausage and eggs and all that stuff this morning is fantastic. For those of you just new to Social Media Breakfast and those of you coming back, the whole purpose of Social Media Breakfast is it's an event that's held once a month that connects social media people together. So it's a place where we can all come, learn about social media, and talk to each other and kind of raise the quality of social media expertise here in Calgary. Oops. So our event sponsor is an organization called Chaos, and what Chaos does is they help implement accounting solutions into organizations. So Donna McTaggart, where are you? Oh, she's right in the back. Donna MCT. So can we give a little applause to Donna for sponsoring this whole social media breakfast? We also have the venue sponsor. Who's been to Melrose during the day for the week for some delicious food, or on the weekend for some good times? Anybody? Yeah, so thanks so much for having us. You can find them online at melrosecalgary.com, on Twitter, Melrose Red Mile, or on Facebook, Melrose Calgary. And the remote is not working. And Wall to Wall Media. Is Melanie here from Wall to Wall Media? Where? Oh, sorry. Yes. Hello. So they're also responsible for our food today. You can find them at walltowallmedia.com and on Facebook at Calgary NHG. They're on Pinterest as well. Or you can find Melanie directly at New Home Guide Mel on Twitter. So can we give a shout out to these people who are helping it make our morning possible? That if you are all on Twitter, anybody not on Twitter? Why? Anybody? Nobody wants to admit it? Let's give a shout out to Melrose New Homes Guide Mel and Donna MCT for hosting us this morning. So let's put out a tweet that says, "Thank you, Melrose Red Mile, New Home Guide Mel, and Donna MCT for hosting us and feeding us at SMByyc." I'll give you 1 minute to do that.
I know.
Actually, maybe while you're doing that, I'll share a little story. Anybody want to hear some social media news? Anybody familiar with what happened with Applebee's in the past week or so? So, for those of you that don't know, what happened with Applebee's is that a group came in to eat at Applebee's. And when their bill came to from eating, it had an 18% gratuity automatically on the bill because the group was a large group. So server brings out the bill. Bill on it says, no need to tip. 18%'s already been added. And the person who was paying the bill is a pastor. And the pastor wrote on the bill, I only give God 10%. Why would I give you more? So server gets it, bill gets paid. Server gets it, brings it to her colleague. Colleague looks at it, takes a picture of it with her iPhone, and sends it up to Reddit. Now, I don't know if you're familiar with the audience on Reddit, but some of them are vicious, live at home in their parents' basement, 15 or 45. Not all of them, though. And there are some great chaps on Reddit, too. So the Reddit community gets a hold of it, and they take a look at the picture, and they start connecting the dots. They see the codes on the receipt, and they start connecting the dots of where the Applebee's actually is, and then they start connecting to the dots of what church that is, and they figure out who the pastor is. Pastor Bell was their name. So the Reddit community, oh, Pastor Bell, you cheat, why would you do that? Starts getting all angry at Pastor Bell. So Applebee's responds, and they fire the employee, and which was throwing a little gasoline on the fire, because the mob all of a sudden turned to Applebee's and said, oh, how could you fire your employee, and you can't do that, blah, blah, blah. So the person in charge of social media for Applebee's starts to respond in some interesting ways. First, they start saying, the crowd on Facebook and on Twitter started saying, you can't fire your employee. I think her name was it Ashley or Chelsea? I can't remember which now. Anyway, they started a hashtag called Hire Ashley Back. So crowd starts saying to Applebee's, you can't fire her, that's not fair, blah, blah, blah. Applebee's goes, yes we can, we can fire her, we have every right to. And so they start a bickering war, which is interesting. And so then the next thing that happens is that the person in charge of social media for Applebee's starts to get actually emotional and takes it personally. So then he starts saying at 3 o'clock in the morning, you have no idea how much I care about Applebee's customers, because nobody's asking me to do this, but I'm responding to all of you, and it's very hard work, and blah, 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 and for me, and then that gets the crowd going even more. And then Applebee's starts copying and pasting statements into all their social media responses, and the crowd sees that and goes crazy, saying, don't you guys know how to have original thoughts, and blah, blah, blah. So, but the best part of it, and all of it's really actually the best part, but the best part of it is, and not that crisis communications is not that a brand being slung through the mud is a good thing at all, but they're not handling very well. But anyway, the best part of it is that somebody comes in and says, you know what, I got the answer, I got this, we are going to Applebee's, I'm going to fix this. They come in and they press delete on 20,000 comments. They're like, problem solved. No, problem is gone. Well, I don't know if you guys know anything about this thing called the internet, but nothing is ever deleted from the internet. So then the mob just goes bananas. And they're going crazy, and there's screenshots, and there's articles already with all this stuff that's been deleted. So just a complete disaster on Applebee's part. So the end result of this for Applebee's is that they had 90,000 comments that all pretty much said, we will never go to Applebee's again, and we're going to tell all our friends and family not to go. So, anybody have a lesson they learned out of that? I got two.
One or two?
I've lots, but can't be a hog. One is have a plan to respond to negative communications, and don't hire morons. That wasn't me, but that is a good one. Somebody said, don't hire a moron. Yes, stick to a plan. We don't need to get emotional when people don't like our brand. We just have to handle it like champs. Anyway, so that's my lesson on Applebee's. So, WowFest, Ryan. We have Ryan from WowFest. Anybody know what WowFest is? Do you have any magicians in town? All right, Ryan's going to talk a little bit about WowFest.
Thank you very much. Now, you may have seen on your table, Gwen was handing out some magic wands. Now, each of those magic wands has actually been hand brushed with a single unicorn hair to empower you guys to be able to do some magic tricks. If you open them up, it actually teaches you how to do some magic. But I thought as a group, I'd get everyone involved in a magic trick. Okay, so I need to begin. I need someone really trustworthy, someone like with a high clout score or something. What's your name? What?
I'm Jeff.
Jeff. It's a pretty easy job.
My club scored like 2.
That's okay. From here on in, you can get up to 5. So this will skyrocket your clout career. I want you to take these cards and just mix them up a little bit. You're just going to be kind of the accountant of this whole process. Did I make a wise choice with Jeff? Yeah. I did, excellent. So Jeff, mix those up and just, I'm not yet, but after today. Count 10 cards onto my hand, Jeff. Out loud so everyone can, one at a time right there. Perfect, there we go. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 cards. Okay, Jeff, I'm going to take these 10, and you just hang on to those. I'm going to take these 10 here. And what's your name? Amanda. You are, the reason I came to you is because you are in the extreme far corner over here. And Amanda, I want you to take those cards and put them somewhere really safe. She's sitting on them. She's sitting on them. That should be pretty safe. So from Amanda, I'm going to go back to Jeff here. Jeff, could you count out 10 cards onto my hand?
Again?
Again.
That's higher than my clout score. 1,
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 cards. Excellent. I'm going to take these 10 opposite from Amanda here. I'm going to go way, way back. And John, you take these cards and put them somewhere very safe.
Him?
Very safe. He is putting them into a back pocket. Okay. So 10 cards to John, 10 cards to Amanda. Everyone between John and Amanda are going to get in on this magic trick. Because it's going to be up to Amanda to send a wave of magical energy across the room towards John. And as it passes through the middle, everyone in the middle will feel it. It'll be a tingle. In fact, as that wave passes, you'll feel compelled just a little bit to kind of stand up and go, woo! I think this will, not yet.
Oh,
Not yet, because we need to wait for Amanda to start it off. So, just, oh, and it's going across! Number 2! Did you feel that, John? Yes, excellent work. Number 1. Amanda, I want you to just squeeze out number 2. A wave of energy, and then it's going across! Yes, thumbs up over there. Okay, that is twice. So we're going to do this one last time. This is everyone's last chance to just give it all you got. We'll try and knock John off of his chair. So Amanda, it's up to you to start it off. And it's going across! Stop it. Oh, it's too much. So we've made 3 waves of magical energy. Here's the thing. With each wave of energy, 1 card invisibly traveled across the room. I know, very impressive. Very impressive. If this worked, Amanda, you start with 10. If you sent 3 cards that way, how many would you end up with? 7, yeah, in theory. Hang on to them for now. In theory. Now, John, you started with 10. If you gain 3, that would give you 13. Don't count them yet. Because here's the really amazing part. I'm going to make those same 3 cards travel back across the room. Okay, you guys aren't buying that one so much. Tell you what, okay, we'll stop there. Amanda, get your cards out. We'll see how this worked here. Count them out loud. I don't want to touch them. Count them out loud. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Whoa.
There's no more? There's no more hiding?
No more.
This might have worked! John, get your cards out from the back pocket they've been in. Count them out loud. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 cards! Thank you very much, John. Thank you very much, Jeff. Thank you very much, Amanda. Thank you, everybody. And please check out wowfest.ca, Wowfest Magic on Twitter, and learn those magic tricks and share the magic. Thank you very much. Thank you.
That was fantastic. Thanks for that, Ryan. We have always really appreciative of our past and current sponsors. So there's a list of some of our previous sponsors. And thanks so much to our current sponsors. My name's Kevin Hayes. You can find me at kevinhayes.ca or on Twitter, kevinhayesca. No TV, MarketWire. I just love these guys. Anybody do social media monitoring with MarketWire or social media press releases with MarketWire? Anyway, they're fantastic. If you're looking for monitoring tools, use them. They always send out our press releases and social media press releases at that, which have a ton of benefits. Genome Alberta, Calgary Speed Dating, and of course Chaos. And sorry, that little click is me communicating to the slide switcher. So if you need to get a hold of anybody in the committee or you have questions, I had a few people come up to me and say, how can I get involved, how can I volunteer, and how can I do anything with Social Media Breakfast? I'm just going to go through our committee members. Donna McTaggart, as you all know, as I pointed out earlier, is back in the corner somewhere or roaming around here. We've got Mike Spear, who I don't believe is here. That rhymed. Oh, Mike Spear, he is here. And we've got Catherine from Calgary Singles. So at the back as well. Me, Kevin Hayes. Des is sitting over there eating some healthy fruit and eggs. Also has a nice little write-up in Linked this month, which is a publication out of SAFE, talking about how much of a great guy Des is. And if you know him, you can attest to that. Heather Ilsley is over there in the corner, and Crystal DeCodner, which is right over here. Awesome. Oh, one day I will learn how to say your last name. I just make it up as I go. Okay, so that's our committee people. If you, we are always looking for people to host these events. So we need approximately a space that can hold 100 to 120 people. Usually we get anyway. We usually get on average about 100, but sometimes a little more, sometimes a little less. So if you have a venue that you want to donate for the next social media breakfast, come up and talk to one of us. We also need breakfast sponsors, so people to feed us, and that usually comes at a cost of about $350 per event. So if you're interested in doing any of that and having me say nice things about you, then we can do that. So you can follow Social Media Breakfast on Twitter at SMByyc. I'm just going to ask again, is anybody not on Twitter? All right. So you can follow us at SMByyc. If you're tweeting out from today, please use the hashtag SMByyc. We also have a social media breakfast in Edmonton. If you're ever up in the northern part of Alberta, or semi-northern, then you can check us out there. And so we've got two really cool speakers today talking about two really cool things today. Anybody know Jeff Nelson? Yep. Yeah, so Jeff runs Enduro Marketing, which is SEO and social media and pay-per-click shop in town here, and they do online marketing strategies. And really what they do is they increase the visibility of an organization in Google. So has anybody heard, what's that little company called? Dell Computers? Anybody heard of those guys? Yeah, so Jeff and his team are responsible for doing some crazy work with Dell. The goal, of course, is to drive traffic to the website and social media sites and convert those visitors into customers or qualified leads. So he's also social media instructor at UFC and SATE, and so he's quite knowledgeable. And also runs a seminar called Quickenars, which is usually half-day or full-day seminars on digital media or social media. And on top of that, I'm just going to introduce them both at once. Jeff will be talking about Pinterest. We also have Joel, who is from Mortgage Architects, and he's got a little more hair than he does in that picture. But he's going to be talking to us about imagery and using social media sites like Instagram and such to help your business. So I think that's enough talking out of me. Who's up first? You're up first, Joel? All right. So give us a second to hook up, and can we give a warm welcome to Joel? Is this going to be a presentation?
It sure is.
Oh, has anybody ever done a Prezi presentation? Who doesn't know what Prezi is? Okay, well, like, to put all the pressure on you there, Joel, this better be fantastic. All right, Joel.
Just gonna get this all set up.
Prezi, heard of it. One of my students did some presentation, and then the website sometimes get down, so I have to download the Adobe Flash, and then you can play it. It's very interesting.
Good morning. Good morning. All right, right on. Okay, so I'm going to be talking about Instagram, of course. I'm going to start off talking about mobile photography and where it's come from, where it is today, and where I kind of predict where it's going to go in the future. And then, of course, we are going to talk about Instagram, which is, I believe, what everybody is partly here for. Okay, so just to get quickly started here, I want to start off with a quote from Chase Jarvis. Anybody familiar with who Chase Jarvis is? A few of you, right on. Okay, so Chase Jarvis in 2009 gave this quote: "The best camera is the one that is on you, or that is with you." This quote came up because there was a debate happening around 2009 about whether mobile photography was worth it. Is it a fad? Is it a thing? Is it anything? Because we're so used to just taking our phones out of our pocket and snapping pictures with it. So there's this debate that started in 2009, and believe it or not, the debate continues to this day. Right? Any photographers in the room? Professional? Right on. I'm going to stand over here. Okay, so I'm very interested actually to get your opinion on what you think mobile photography, your thoughts on mobile photography.
Well, I do it all the time too. Like I have Instagram too. I use it a lot to actually advertise my own photography at the same time. So.
Okay, thank you. Jacob, thoughts?
I think mobile photography is probably the fastest, easiest way to get your work out and seen by others so they can know exactly what you're doing.
Right. So it's funny because I was talking to Donna about mobile photography about 6 months ago. And that's when I started to really do a little bit of research on this, I'm going to call it a phenomenon, only because of the rate of how it's just skyrocketed in Instagram, IM, and how it's now being becoming a part of our mainstream media, right? So I started to do about a whole bunch of research about 6 months ago, and believe it or not, the research that I did 6 months ago is completely different than what is out there today. The number of websites that actually promote mobile photography is ridiculous. There are mobile photography awards, mobile photography exhibits popping up in every major city in the US. There's a hotel, Nouveau Hotel in Toronto, that actually has a wall full of Instagram pictures. And it was curated by a person by the name of Josh Johnson and his team of photographers. So the whole interest on my part in regards to mobile photography is about how we can actually build a community and how we can grow our community, not using visual art rather than only Twitter or even Vine on video nowadays, whatever it may be. Because in my opinion, I agree with Chase. The best camera is the one that is with you. It's the one that you have in your pocket. It's the one that you carry in your purse. It's the one that you carry in that gaudy leather holster on your belt, whatever it may be. It's the one that you pull out in many situations. During holidays. I'm willing to bet $10 that a number of you have already Instagrammed your breakfast from this morning. Do I win? Yeah. That's right, see? Okay, if you're walking the dog and you see a nice tree, guess what we do? We take out our phones, we take a picture of it. If we see a beautiful sunset, what do? Take our phone out, snap a picture of it. So this whole mobile photography craze, in my opinion, is not a fad. It's definitely a sign of the times, and it's something that I believe all of us are starting to really embrace. Who in here has not shared a photo on their smartphone, ever?
How to define sharing?
I'm gonna pick on her. Because I noticed that you just snapped a photo of me on your iPad. But you have never shared a photo.
Never.
How come?
Because I have a very paranoid husband who won't let me come online and share anything.
Fair enough. So we'll talk about that actually in a bit. My cousin. What we are going to talk about the whole privacy issue and So just moving on here. Like I said, the best camera is the one that is with you, right? Your smartphone is just as important as your DSLR. Why? Because your smartphone can capture moments the exact same way that a DSLR can. And these are moments that we otherwise would not be capturing. So, with the advent of new technology, new phones, the main benefit of better camera phone technology is one of the reasons as to why Instagram, IM, Vine, all of these photo apps, video apps have really grown over the last number of years. If you take a look at the first generation of smartphones, they took blurry pictures. They're very hard to use in low light. Obviously fewer megapixels. We were talking about phones that had 2 megapixel cameras on them. I believe I remember a phone that had half a megapixel. No idea why they would even bother putting a phone in their camera in their phone. Very hard to share. So, a few years ago, 3 to 5 years ago, it was very hard for us to immediately share that photo that we just took. Small screens, no editing capabilities. This just doesn't want to work with me today. You hold that for a second? I want feedback.
You want to say something?
Okay, here we go. If we take a look at the phones today, iPhone 5s, Samsung Galaxy S3s, the new BlackBerry Z10, which Donna is in complete love with. I think, how many iPhone users in the room? Right on. How many Android users? BlackBerry users? Those are fair numbers. Fair numbers. No laughing. So if you take a look at the phones today, we get clearer images. We have improved low light shots. I'll talk more about that later as well, because the type of pictures you take with a smartphone will never compare with a DSLR and low light shots. That's a fact. Same or better megapixels than your regular point and shoot that I would say 2 or 3 years ago we carried on us at all times. Nowadays it is way too easy to share. I take a picture and I can share it to multiple platforms. Obviously larger screens, and I'm just going to drop my phone now. It's not working. And then if you fast forward to the future of phones, let's take a look at this. Some of you may have already seen this. So that phone right there is a Nokia 808. Anybody heard of it yet? They announced it last year at the Consumer Electronics Show. This phone is only a 5 megapixel phone. Well, what they've done is they've taken technology with the chipset inside of it, and they're terming it as pixels on pixels on pixels. So as you saw in that video, what's happening is they've got it to a point where even if you take a 5 megapixel photo, each of those pixels are then taken further, so you're getting a much clearer shot, and you're getting brighter colors, just a better picture overall. And easily, we're most likely going to see that technology in the iPhone 10, the BlackBerry Z40, the Samsung Galaxy S4. I'm going to predict that the Android phones are going to be ahead of the game in regards to what they're going to be putting technology-wise into their phones. Yeah, sure. Who uses Flickr in the room? A number of you. I'm pretty sure a lot of us do. I'm not that big of a user of Flickr. However, I came across a very interesting stat when I started doing a little bit of research. If you take a look here, the most popular cameras in the Flickr community are smartphones, top 1 and 2. And then your DSLRs follow afterwards. And then if you take a look at the cameras, the phone cameras that are in there, your Apple 4S, 4, your 5, your Samsung Galaxy S3, and then your iPhone 3GS. So, and obviously I think one of the reasons as to why camera phones have really kind of leapfrogged the DSLR community in regards to uploading to Flickr is because of that ease of sharing. And being able to just quickly click that I can share my photos to Flickr, or whatever it may be. So I did mention earlier that I think one of the huge things about being able to share your photo easily is that sense of being able to grow your community. A lot of us use it on a very personal basis, whether we're out with our friends or out for coffee with a buddy, or you're at a wedding, or again walking your dog, whatever it may be. However, I'm seeing a lot more businesses use it as well, especially within our city. And we've got a lot of businesses that are doing a very good job of posting photos. Melrose, for example, is doing a stupendous job in regards to if there's an event here, they're on top of being able to share those photos, whether it be to Twitter and or Instagram. Right on. Okay. So those are the different platforms that we can share to on a regular basis, right? Email, Twitter, Facebook, Tumblr. Pinterest, IM. Well, let's get straight to Instagram. The E is IM. So IM is another photo sharing app that was just released about 6 months ago, and it's starting to grow as well in the community. And a lot of it has to do with the whole Instagram terms of service piece. So we'll talk more about that in a bit. So let's talk about Instagram. Let's jump to that subject now. Instagram, what is it? Anybody not know what Instagram is? Okay, I probably really run through this quickly. Basically, it's a photo sharing app, is what it is. I'll bring my phone up so you guys can see a little bit of a demo for those of you that have not seen it before. You're able to share real-time moments. You snap a picture, you apply a filter if you would like to. You throw a whole bunch of hashtags onto it, and then you post it to Instagram as well as other platforms. Some quick facts about Instagram. It was launched in 2010, and it is doing a good job of becoming the first app or first social media platform to hit 100 million users within a few years versus Twitter, Facebook, etc. So it's a mobile purebred app. However, there is an online version. Some of you may have seen the news recently in regards to them opening up their website or opening up their web version of Instagram. So basically, if you ever want to take a look at your profile, go to instagram.com/your Instagram username. And what you'll be able to see is your feed of pictures. Looks exactly like Instagram to a degree. Biggest difference, you cannot share photos off of the website. You can only view, you can like, and you can follow. And you can still access your profile and that type of thing. Everybody remember last year when Facebook purchased Instagram?
Yeah. 1 billion.
Yeah. So let's talk about some of the good. I'm going to get into the good, the bad, and the nasty terms of service that came up recently. So these are just some of what I think are the good points about it, and some of the bad points about it, and that type of thing. So anyhow, I like it because it's instant. I like how, in comparison to some other apps, if I post a picture, it's up within seconds. And the reason for that, I'm not going to get too technical on this, but the reason for that is because of how they've built their background inside that app. What your phone's actually doing is it's caching a number of information, and then it posts it behind the scenes. Yada yada, everybody's fading out. It's a very intuitive app. If you have not used it before, and if you download it to your phone, within a minute or two, you will most likely have a picture for the world to see. It's that intuitive. And like I've mentioned many times, you can share to multiple platforms: Flickr, Facebook, Twitter, to Tumblr as well. Just like Twitter, you can also apply a number of hashtags. So you can tag, hashtag, whatever it may be. I'll talk more about hashtags here in a bit. Let's move on to the next slide. Some of the bad things, in my opinion, about Instagram are some of the filters. Now, and depending on who you talk to, the filter piece can be a good or a bad thing. A lot of us like it because it turns that simple shot that we just took into something a little bit with more substance, right? We like that willow effect, or we like the what are some of the other filters on Instagram here?
Paper.
Sorry?
Like those kind of old papers.
Yeah, anyhow, you can apply all the multiple filters on there. That's where the huge argument comes in, though, when it comes to the professional photographer community versus mobile photographers. A lot of professional photographers feel that Instagram is basically, it's too easy. So I take a snapshot, I apply a filter, and I post it, and all of a sudden it looks good, right? And to be honest, I used to call Instagram the auto-tune of photography. That's exactly what I used to call it, because that's really what it is, right? We take a photo, we apply a cool filter to it, and then we're good to go. The square format doesn't always work though on Instagram. Depending on the composition of your photo, the square format doesn't always work. There are ways to get around that. We always talk about that later. But that is, it's an annoyance to a number of people. And that last point there is just another one of the bad opinions on my part that I'd like to share, the multiple hashtags, and I'm sure we've all seen it. I've done it every now and then. And the reason why I don't like it is because a number of users will use it to try to gain followers. And believe it or not, Instagram does have spam bots or ways of trying to gain followers on your behalf, etc., etc. And then let's get to the really nasty bit about Instagram. December 18th of 2012, Instagram decided to change their terms of service. And they basically worded it so that they could do whatever they wanted with the photos that were on Instagram. So they could take your photo, slap it onto an advertisement. They didn't have to tell you who they sent that photo to or whether or not they were making cash out of it. There was this huge uproar from the social media community. If you do a little bit of research on that part, it's actually pretty funny, some of the things that were out there. But because of that fury, what I call fury, and uproar, a couple days later, Instagram actually changed their terms of service to say, you know, we're not really going to sell your photos, and you can post them, and if we plan to make any money, see, this is the thing, if you actually go into the terms of service and read it, it's a whole bunch of, I think, verbiage that, unless you're a lawyer, really wouldn't be able to understand. But my take on it is that they retracted from that and they will no longer be selling your photos. Did anybody here actually cancel their Instagram account when that happened? Who thought about canceling their Instagram account when it happened? And how many of you couldn't care less? I was one of them. I've got photos on Facebook, on Instagram, and really, you know, whatever that may be. 2 days ago, or a few days ago, no, sorry, January 18th, so 30 days after they originally changed their terms of service, that's when the terms of service came into full effect. Guess what? There was no news about that terms of service coming into effect at all. Nobody could care less about it. I saw tons of photos being posted to Instagram that day, myself included. Right? So, you know, when it comes down to the whole terms of service dispute and that whole subject of it all, it's definitely a personal preference, is what it comes down to. If you don't want your photos out there, don't post them. If you want 400 likes, post it. And try to get those likes, hashtag the crap out of it. So I just want to talk about some of my favorite hashtags, and I want to get more into the subject of community in regards to the use of Instagram. If you follow me on Instagram, you'll recognize these hashtags that I use on a very regular basis. Obviously, the hashtag YYC, everybody is very familiar with that is. A lot of my photos that I take are of architecture and environments around Calgary, so I like to share that with my followers. If I'm doing something cool downtown, I'll hashtag it with downtown YYC. So for example, the Bow Building, I loved watching the Bow Building go up. I loved watching the Wonderland sculpture be put together in front of that Bow Building. So if you go into my feed, you'll see that I have tons of photos of that sculpture being put together. And again, it's just a way for me and our community in the city to share some of the new and upcoming things that are happening in Calgary. Which brings me to the next hashtag, which is SeenYYC. SeenYYC is a hashtag being used by the Calgary is Awesome blog, I believe. And what they're doing, or Scene 2012, what they're doing is they're actually curating as many photos as they can from the city and users of Instagram in the city under that hashtag. And what they're going to do is they're going to put that collection together, and it's basically going to become a pretty cool yearbook, I think, in my opinion, of the last year for Calgary. So if you take cool photos of Calgary, or whether it be cool or whatever it may be, hashtag them with SeenYYC, and let's build that community in the city, right? This hashtag here, hashtag JJ, is actually a very, it's a big one in my opinion. It plays an important role in my day-to-day use of Instagram. Instagram has allowed me to connect and speak and like and share photos across the whole entire globe. So I'm not only posting to Calgary and I have followers in Calgary, but I have followers all over the globe. My follower count isn't that high. However, some of the relationships that I've built with some of these individuals that I follow and that follow me on Instagram are actually they're pretty cool, because I've been able to pick up a lot of tips in regards to how to take better photos. I'm able to share my opinion on whether they took a good photo or not, whatever it may be. Josh Johnson, that's where the JJ comes from. Josh Johnson is a photographer as well, a professional photographer, that basically has put away his digital camera, his DSLR. So he was a professional photographer for years, picked up his iPhone, and all of a sudden he is now strictly a mobile photographer. And he built this community on Instagram for the whole purpose of creating a place where you can post your photo and you can interact with others across the globe. He has a 1, 2, 3 rule. Actually, let's move to the next slide. Tell you a little bit of a story. When I first joined the JJ community, it was about, I'm going to say 6 months ago. I discovered it because I was bored one day, probably waiting for a coffee at Starbucks, and I happened to find this JJ hashtag. I'm like, what the heck is that? Clicked on it, and I discovered a community that had over 40 million photos posted onto it. So I thought, well, okay, very cool. I started to kind of follow it on a daily basis, and I discovered that Josh Johnson and his team put out a daily subject for everybody to take pictures of. And that daily subject challenges the Instagram user or photographer or whatever it may be to take that subject into account, take the photo. You don't even have to apply a filter. It's a matter of posting it to Instagram and then communicating with everybody in that community. So I'm walking down the aisle at Safeway one day, and all of a sudden my phone goes off the hook. It's buzzing with every step that I take. Somebody's really trying to get a hold of me right now. I take my phone out and I see this notification. I was recognized or featured by one of the Josh Johnson editors that day. And it's that bottom right, well, it says there, bottom row on the right. I'll tell you, it was a very humbling experience to be able to be recognized by the editor, by Josh Johnson, and then by the community that follows Josh Johnson. And from that point on, I became addicted to connecting with that community. So just to give you a little bit of a background, if you ever are interested in following Josh Johnson and the forums, basically the format is, you can see, can you move the up a bit, right there. So see where it says JJ forum, JJ_forum_0408. So that will be your daily hashtag for the subject that's been given for the day. Wednesdays, for example, are black and white Wednesdays, so you post your best black and white photo on Wednesdays. Sundays are your best photo of the week. So if you feel like you took a great photo, post it to whatever that forum number is that day or that week. There are three important rules though in this community, and I think this is one of the reasons as to why it's grown to the point that it is at. There's a simple rule: for every photo that you post, you comment on 2 and you like 3 others. And what that does is it forces you to actually go through that day's set of photos, and it gives you an idea of what kind of pictures other photographers are taking, and it challenges you to basically challenge yourself in taking similar photos or to pick up your own style or whatever it may be. So it has become a daily habit of mine to take a look at what that subject is. If I have a photo from the past that I think applies to that forum, I'll post it or I'll tag it. Or if I don't, maybe I'll look for a subject in that regard for the day and I'll post it that way, right? So it's really cool in regards to how that community again has grown, and I think it's very important to really look at how we could use that in our own city. We have tons of events in our city where we could really take advantage of a particular hashtag or a particular type of theme to the photos that we take, and that's how we can just grow in regards to, you know, how we build that community. There's just a couple more other photos for when I've been featured, which is really cool. We can quickly go through these. Just want to give you an idea of how they set it up. So what they'll do is they'll you know, and it's not like you're the only one featured that day, which I like. You're featured amongst a number of users. And sometimes they'll do a top 10 for the day. So again, it does challenge your skills in that. Some of you might be wondering as well how to get physical copies of your Instagram photos. Here are some choices. Here are some options: Statagram, Printstagram, Stickygram, and Instacanvas. I'll kind of quickly go through each of those. Statagram. I actually use Statagram on a regular basis for my clients. What I'll do is I'll kind of follow their path when they've met with me. So for example, if it's a first-time home buyer, I'll take shots of them throughout that kind of journey into purchasing their first home. Once they move in, I'll go to Statagram and I'll purchase 9 photos of that journey and then give it to them as a welcoming gift for their home. I love walking into a client's home and seeing those pictures on their fridge. It's really cool, it's really touching. Printstagram allows you to print calendars, little books, photo books, and that type of thing. Sorry, it's Stickygram that allows you to do the magnets, not Statagram. Statagram is a site where you're able to get analytics on your Instagram account. When you posted your first picture, who your top followers are, who likes your pictures the most, vice versa, that kind of thing. And then Instacanvas is a really cool site as well. If you're ever looking for a way to monetize on using Instagram, Instacanvas is really cool. So users can go to Instacanvas, pull up your account, and if they really like your picture, they can actually have it put onto a canvas. And then there are other options of putting it onto print. So again, there's just different options out there and different ways of how to utilize Instagram further than what it's already out there for. I spelled accessorize wrong. Note to self. Okay, so taking it to the next level. Instagram, mobile photography, Androidography, apptography, whatever you want to call it, has really grown. I've mentioned that many times. If you want to take your mobile photography to the next level though, there are a couple of accessories that are out there. Anybody heard of the Olo clip before? Yeah, this is a really cool lens. So it basically, it sits on the corner of your, this is specifically built for the iPhone. So it sits on the corner of your iPhone 5 or 4S, and it's a 3-in-1 lens. So you get a fisheye lens, a wide angle lens, and you also get a macro lens. Some of the things that you can do with this lens are amazing. It does allow you to take your photography on your phone to the next level. The other accessory that I really suggest you get if you do want to take it to the next level is a tripod for your iPhone. This is the one that I use. It's called the Joelwill Grip Tight Gorilla Pod Stand. And the where's the other piece? Oh, here. You've probably seen this before. So this tripod is, you can bend it, you can wrap it around chairs, tables, whatever it may be. Joby has just come out with a stand that's universal, so it doesn't matter what type of phone you have. You can use an iPhone 5 on here, a Samsung phone, whatever it may be. Even Donna's BlackBerry Z10. So it just stretches that way, so that you can fit that on there. Some of the use, I've used it for a number of things: portraits, family photos, time-lapse photos, that kind of thing. In that regard. So I will leave you with one thing, and it's this video. I should just pause it for a sec. I do. Whenever I present or whenever I talk to a number of individuals, I have one goal, and that's that you take away at least one thing from what I've talked about. I would like to challenge everybody here to start posting a photo a day if you are on Instagram. Join the Josh Johnson Forum. Or, if you would like, let's start a community here in Calgary. Instagrammers YYC or Igers YYC, IGERS YYC. There is an account out there that I started, and I think it's at its infancy in comparison to Seattle's Instagrammers community, where there are tens of thousands of users on that community. And what they do is they actually have Insta meets where they go out on photo walks and they take pictures and then they meet about it and that kind of thing, which I think is really cool. Again, it's building community in the city. So, thank you very much. I will leave you with this last video.
The sun shines bright as it moves across my face. I feel the light and everything is in its place. I woke up feeling great. Today was made for me. And life is good the way it should, the way it was meant to be. And it's a beautiful day. It's a beautiful day. It's a beautiful day. Is blowing, the bells are ringing, children playing in the park while birds are singing. I am walking, and I am laughing, life is perfect, I'm not trying, it's just happening, and it's a beautiful day.
right, how about that? We're Joel, thank you. Were we taking lots of pictures? Snapping them up to Instagram and Flickr. I quite like Flickr myself, and yeah. So anyway, while Jeff Nelson comes up here to get set up, we were running a little behind schedule, so I apologize. We do have 2 presenters today, and they are both quite well. So, is that really how easy it is for you to hook up your gig?
That's it.
Okay, so while Jeff gets hooked up, let's do one really easy thing. Are we ready for some participation? How's everybody's voices feeling this morning? Are we good? Maybe clear your throat because it's somebody's birthday today. Yes. So, what's your name?
It's Kayla.
And what do you do, Kayla?
I work for Matrix Video.
And are you doing the video for Social Media Breakfast?
I am.
Yay, so can we all participate in a little happy birthday song, eh? Because if we don't, I'm going to be the only one singing, and you don't want me being the only one singing. So ready, on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Kayla. Happy birthday to you. Woo! Anybody know Jeff Nelson?
Yeah.
Oh, can't stand too close to that speaker apparently. So I'll hand it over to you. What? How can I help?
I don't know if I can do the mic and this.
Would you like me to hold it for you?
Hang on, let me think about this. I'll try it.
All right.
No, you're gonna have to hold me like.
Hold you?
Yeah.
That's not part of the deal. All right, here we go.
Well, like they do in MMA. The guy comes behind and he holds the mic, and that looks like really creepy to me.
This is feeling creepy actually, but okay. Let's just see how it goes.
Well, let's go.
I do like you, so.
Let's try it. So, hello everyone. Welcome to Social Media Breakfast. I see lots of people here I know. And I'm going to do a presentation on Pinterest. This you can just go down right there. And thank you very much, by the way. Let me ask a question. How many people are on Pinterest? Like have an account? So why are you here then? Like I'm missing. I thought there would be like quite a few people on Pinterest, but anyway, okay. So I think the person that asked me to do the presentation was Donna. Is she around? So thank you, Donna. I hope it meets some of your expectations. You might have to move over a bit. Thank you. So the reason I have to have Kevin helping me out is because I'm going to be doing my presentation from a mobile phone, and I'm only using Pinterest. So this is like really strange. I wouldn't recommend using Pinterest for your presentations because it is a bit clunky compared to PowerPoint where you can just click on slides. But for this particular presentation, I think it actually might work. So here we go. Double click. Get away from the speaker. You're doing a great job.
You smell terrific.
Really? I have a shower once a week, and this morning I had a shower.
We're all grateful we're on that end of the stick.
My weekly shower. Okay, here we go. So I have a Pinterest account. Just set it up yesterday. No, that's not true. I have a Pinterest account, so I'm using a mobile app. I have an iPhone, and the presentation is called Pinterest, Falling Down a Rabbit Hole. Meaning, if you don't catch the idea there, meaning that it really is a time waster, very addictive. If you start on it, it's hard to get off of it, and like the first 2 months, it really eats up your time. And after that, it still is addictive, even after so long. So what I'm going to do, my objective today is to show you 8 ways that you can use Pinterest. So if you want to follow this presentation, you can go to my page, which is pinterest.com/JeffXNelson. The X, some people think it stands for Xavier, but it's just a space because I couldn't get Jeff Nelson by itself. So Jeff X Nelson, and you'll see exactly like this, and you'll see the board. So I have like 38 boards. And the first one is called Pinterest Falling Down a Rabbit Hole. So there it is. So point number 1. And the boards you can move around, but when you're in a board, you can't move the pins. At least I haven't figured out how to move the pins, but you can move the boards around. So that's kind of odd to me. Number 1, this is the number 1 reason why I use Pinterest, and I bookmark. I have I have 38 boards, so there's one on social media, there's one on pay-per-click, there's one on metrics, all kind of business related boards, and then I have a lot of personal ones like books and movies and ideas I like and lots of different things. So bookmarking is the number 1 activity that I do, and I just pin, like I'm at my computer probably 4 or 5 hours a day, and if I see a really good article, I pin to it, pin it to a board. And so I actually have a board that's called Pinterest for Business. Huh? Nice. And these are just articles that I've pinned over the last little while that are related to using Pinterest for Business. So back to falling down the rabbit hole. Let's find number 2 reason. Number 2 is collaboration. Collaboration means that you can take a board and you can invite somebody else to participate and help you pin information to that particular board. So I have boards, and you can tell, oops, sorry, I gotta go back. Okay, back here, I got lost. If you click the wrong button, it really makes things strange. So back to here, and you go to, see this one, Social Media Essentials. That's a course that I teach at University of Calgary. And it has the icon. You can see the icon with the people. That means it's shared. And I'm sharing it with other people in our company. And so when they're on their Pinterest account or on our Anduro one, they can pin articles related to social media to that board. So that's number 2. Number 3. Pin blog posts. So we have a blog. Nearly every blog post has a picture related to it. Lots of them are screenshots so that we own them. And you just pin the picture to a blog. So I'll show you our blog. Go back. Is everybody able to see this? So here's our blog. So I have a board on our site, and I've shared it with people in Anduro, and they can pin up pictures to our blog. So when you click on this, I'm not going to do it because it'll take a long time. When you click on it, it goes back to our actual blog post or about that particular topic. So another hint when you're writing blog posts, always have a picture. Make sure you describe in the alt text of your picture, make sure you describe something in case somebody pins it. Something that you want people to say. Lots of people pin and they don't change the description. In all of my pins, I've changed the description. So let me show you we're on number 4, right? So number 4, see the numbers there? I've added that. So number 4, where's 4? 4, SEO value. If you go to my page and click on this, this actually goes to a really good article about the value of Pinterest from a search engine optimization point of view. And it literally, they act as links. So if you want to have your website rank high on Google or other search engines, one of the routes you may look at is pinning lots of things related to your website or your blog back to put them on Pinterest and then make sure the link goes back to your website or your blog. So that's number 4. Number 5, laughing. So there is a lot on Pinterest that's quite funny, and the only problem is usually you're alone, which is kind of weird because you're by yourself laughing. Anyways.
Not weird like this.
Yeah. Is somebody getting a picture of this? Where's Instagram? Like, this is awesome. Okay.
For one of us.
Searching is number 6. Number 6, searching, not a great site for searching for information. I mean, YouTube and Google are much, much better, but it is still a different source, a different way that you can search for information. I mean, you're probably going to get ladies' shoes and hairstyles and all kinds of girly stuff like that. But occasionally you can do a search and get something like, you know, cougars. When I say cougars, people think a much different thought than I think of. When I think of cougars, I'm thinking of a Mercury cougar, as in 1967 Mercury cougar. So go to Explore. And you search, you have to do, if you do cougar, it comes up with really strange stuff. So you have to do Mercury cougar. And there you go. Look at that, eh? Here's a XR7. Oh yeah. Let's just have a moment of silence. Moment of silence. Okay. Now I'm trying to get back. So that's number 6 is searching. So you can search for whatever you want on there. There's no porn on there, so don't even try that. Not that I try.
Answering the question we were all asking in our heads.
Where are we? We did number 6, right? Number 7 is what I'm looking for now. See, this is not organized in the up top. Thank you. So number 7. For men, right?
Ready?
Right, so here we go. I'm actually going to click on this one, see if it actually works. But we have Pinterest for men. It's called Manstering. Terrible name. But it's literally all kinds of stuff for guys. And I actually looked at it. It was actually pretty good. Again, no porn there, so it's very clean. You can look at it at the office. Guns. So anyways, we'll go out of that. So that's Mantress. That's number 7, right? Number 8. So is Sharon here or she left, right? So Sharon and I were talking about Pinterest before, and she gave me a new idea. I'd heard about secret boards. So this is secret boards, but I kind of said to myself, they're useless. Like, why do you, it just doesn't make sense to me. Why would you have a secret board on Pinterest? This doesn't make sense to me. And then she said what she's doing is she's collaborating with her designer to do some graphical work, and he pins up to Pinterest on their secret board. So really it's just the two of them sharing different versions of whatever the graphic is. And I thought, oh, that's very cool. So number 8 goes to Sharon. Thank you very much. What else is there? I'm almost done. Oh, don't you like my falling down a rabbit hole? I think that's it. Any questions about Pinterest? I hope you learned a thing or two. And thank you very much.
That's fantastic. That whole presentation done right from his iPhone. Thanks so much, Jeff, and thanks so much, Joel. So we've ran a little bit over time. Does anybody want to ask 1 or 2 questions?
What's your Twitter tag?
Twitter tag. Joel, Jeff, your Twitter handle is Jeff X Nelson, is that right? And Joel, your Twitter handle is Joel Olandesca, Olandesca. One last thing to mention. Thanks. One last thing to mention is that Crystal here up at the front, if you want to raise your hand, some of you may have gotten $10 off pizza cards for Melrose, and I think just a $5 off coupon for any meals. So we're giving away free dough that you can spend at Melrose here. So come see Crystal before you leave if you want to capture that. Other than that, my name's Kevin. Thanks so much for coming out and hanging out today. And Social Media Breakfast is the second last Friday of every single month. So we'll see you next Friday. Thanks.